Hey guys, what's going on? For Complex News, I'm Tamara Dia. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Back in March, Will Smith went bungee jumping off the historic Victoria Falls Bridge that connects the countries of Zimbabwe and Zambia in Africa. A photo of Smith taking the plunge over a river went viral a short time later, but it didn't have anything to do with the jump itself. Rather, many people on social media were blown away by the striking resemblance between Smith in the photo and his former Fresh Prince of Bel-Air co-star James Avery, a.k.a. Uncle Phil. People passed a side-by-side comparison with Smith and Uncle Phil around and talked about how similar the two men looked in the picture. And it seems as though Smith himself must have seen his viral photo floating around because he spoke about it this week while promoting his new Netflix-distributed film, Bright, during San Diego Comic-Con. Smith had a pretty surprising response to the photo, though. When he was asked about it, he didn't talk about how strange it was to see how similar he looked to Uncle Phil. In fact, he didn't discuss Uncle Phil at all while providing his reaction. Instead, he spoke about how much the world had changed since he first broke onto the music scene back in the 1980s, and he used the photo as proof to show how the concept of celebrity has evolved over the last 30 years. It's such a new world. I released my first record in '86, so I'm over 30 years in the business. My first album, there were no CDs, so it wasn't until my second album, and they came like these hot new things called CDs. Seeing that transition, especially the fans being more and more involved in the creative process. In terms of movie stars, it's a huge difference. It's like you almost can't make new movie stars anymore. Smith then got deeper and more profound as he continued to discuss what the photo represents to him. It's like there's a certain amount of privacy, and there was a certain amount of distance that you had from the audience. That amount of access created this bigger-than-life kind of thing. But in the shift into this new world, it's almost like a friendship with the fans. The relationship is less like the time of Madonna and Michael Jackson, when you could make the Tom Cruise, these gigantic figures, because you can't create that anymore. The shift is to we're best friends, and that's like with the comments and with those pictures and all that. Smith finished by saying, while he's operating in a much different space today than he was just a decade or two ago, he enjoys the challenge that comes along with it. I love trying to make that shift and make that transition into the new demands of the fans in this business. This wasn't necessarily the response we were expecting him to have to his viral Uncle Phil photo, but it is a really interesting take from a guy who has clearly spent time thinking about how his fans perceive him today. That's the news for now, but for the rest of your updates, keep it locked right here to Complex. For Complex News, I'm Tamara Dia.